I'll give you just a quick rundown. I'll just ask you a few questions. You will try to answer as truthfully as possible. Anything that negative that you say, I will edit out, so don't worry about that. No, I'm just joking. Please, I want your honest opinion. And yeah, that's basically it. All right?
The only negative I've got is over so soon.
All right. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you wanted to learn Python in the first place.
So, a few years ago, I left the army, the British Army, and then decided that I was working outdoors, and I decided that being cold, wet, and miserable through the winter wasn't the best thing for me anymore. The body was getting sorer in aches and pains every evening. And I decided to reach out to a family member who suggested getting into a technology role. So I had a bit of a look around, and then with the company I was working with at the time, they gave me a quick crash course in Python, which I didn't think was particularly great. It was multi-person learning, and you're learning at different people's paces. Found yourself, and we discussed about your course. Jumped on your course for that because I see my future in a technology role, which I'm fortunate enough to have got through my employer. So I'm lucky enough that I've managed to be successful, where most of the candidates who came through the same course as me on the course that the company provided have not been successful. And I put that down to all the additional stuff that I've gone through your course.
Nice. I love it. I love your story. I love that it's a real world success that you were able to achieve, and I'm so happy with that. I wanted to ask you, like, even though you kind of answered it already, why did you decide to go with or have one-on-one sessions, and why did you choose us to Python Dev?
So the one-on-one session I had with you initially was brilliant. It just focused on simple tasks, building on that simple task and working forward, and you explained the outline of the whole course on how I would slowly build on everything from the very, very beginning and work. And it was an easy decision then and there, going, actually, yeah, if I'm going to build my foundations nice and strong, and then I'm going to utilize those skills all the way through the course, it's better than the way in which I did the course through my company, which was here's one task, now we move on to the next one, then we move on to the next concept, and consistently moving concepts without reutilizing the skills that we did. And all the way through your course, at the end of the course, I'm still using stuff that I learned at the very, very beginning of this course, and pulling it in and going, actually, no, I know this. This is from week 2. And I was like, yeah, this is a concept from week 2. Yeah. And consistently just pulling that information back through and continue to do that.
Very nice. Do you regret your decision?
Not a chance that I regret it. So I did a codility test for going into this role as the first major obstacle that we had before an assessment day. And the first bit of code I'd already seen before, so I got through that one. The second one, I just sat there and I looked at it and I'm like, actually, we've been breaking down a similar sort of problem, not the exact same problem, but breaking the task, being able to break the task down using the stuff I've learned from the course, and then actually go through it in a logical manner, and then got through that second question. And the third question was a non-Python related question, but that second question I got through it super quickly because the things I learned on the course and how to break down the problem, because the way you structured the learning through the course, where it's built on a skill and then you reutilize that skill consistently and building up. So no, not a regret at all.
Nice.
In fact, I've recommended it to guys to come out and reach out to you.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Can you give a small overview of where you started and where you are now? Like sort of a journey, like where your skill level started and where you are at right now.
So before starting your course, I had a basic understanding. I could write very basic code. By very basic, I could get this. I could get the PyCharm to fire out a particular problem. Now I'm able to do from maths problems to the question was about removing the word balloon from a series of letters, and that I worked out from the content of the course. We never actually covered that in the course, but the process of getting that word, finding that word, all those letters was exactly what we did in the course. We'd done all of that, covered those concepts. So I'd say now I can program now, whereas before I couldn't program at all. I could write code, basic, very, very basic, simple code. Now I can understand more complex. I can definitely, when looking at problems, I can see what the code's trying to do. I may not understand some of the syntax on the code, but I definitely understand what's doing what within the code, which is half the battle, because of the way your course has taught me to break down the code by the way you've taught me to build the code.
And debugging the code and understanding the structure of it, how
it
works.
That's my favorite tool that I never used prior to the course, was the debugger tool. And
such a helpful tool.
Once you understand why it's going wrong, it's easy to go, that's the problem there, and from that, knowing that problem, you can just go straight into it and change that bit of the code, rather than going, is it that bit, is it that bit, is it that bit, and trying to work out and Googling all the problems, and you're like, why is this not working, and then you finally just go into the debugger tool. I think I used it on almost every session when my code didn't quite go wrong on the challenge part. My code didn't go right first time. Debugger tool straight away. And then I got into the habit of just doing the debugger tool as well after it worked, so I could see the way it was operating as well. Because it's developing that mindset.
So it can be used even if you did everything correctly, you can still use the debugger just to make sure that everything that you thought was working correctly is in fact working correctly.
It's actually operating in the manner that I intended it to do it in.
Exactly. Because sometimes you run the code and it works and you don't even know why. I don't know if it happened to you like before, but you run the code, you're surprised that it worked. You're like, of course this shouldn't work. I don't know how, so let's debug it and check. So
It also helps, I think, with so towards the end of the course, we've been focused on making the code more streamlined. So the debugger tool actually helps you with that. So rather than using more data than's needed, and more computing power, should I say, than's needed, then we can actually bring it down and rewrite the code in a cleaner, more useful way, where it's not using as much demand on the system to process the code,
or as many operations as we can. Not as many operations. That's great. I love it. So even though it has already helped you, but I wanted to ask this question. Do you believe that what you learned will help you progress going forward in your professional career?
Definitely. Even if I didn't get successful with my current employer, there's now opportunities for me to apply to other roles. I actually feel confident writing Python code, that I know what I'm actually doing, and it's actually got rid of a huge amount of imposter syndrome that I felt when I started. It's like, okay, I know a bit of this, I know a bit of that, and seeing how it works and spending those hours that we spent on OOP.
Object-oriented programming. That's the most important part, in my opinion.
That has made me understand how to write code in a much better way, and separating certain elements of the code and being able to call those elements as and when I need it, rather than writing it out 10 times because I need it 10 times. Writing it once and calling it 10 times. much more efficient, and easier to read the code as well for the next person.
Yep, exactly. All right, one last question that I want to ask you, Andrew. Did you enjoy the process, and was it worth it?
Hated every minute of it. No,
Edit out. Cut it out.
no, I loved every minute of it. Got on with the instructor really well. He was phenomenal. Kept me on my toes. Great. He's got an amazing poker face.
Yeah.
Watching me do it wrong during the challenge without interrupting, waiting for me to and then letting me understand where I went wrong in the challenge, for myself to do it and not just jumping straight in and go, no, you're doing that wrong. Let me make the mistakes, which then paid off later on in the course, because I made those mistakes earlier on. Like, actually, I remember that mistake. I did that earlier. It's like, that doesn't work. It's got to be done this way. And then understanding why is that. And again, the introduction he gave me into very early on into the debugger tool, and just we're going to go through it. Even a simple print statement, we're going to debug the simple print statement, just because if we use it from the beginning all the way through, that it's going to be done. And I love the bit of building the game slowly. We're building the format of the outline of the game by creating monsters and the player, and developing that and changing things and using object-oriented programming to do that. It was a perfect way to learn, because I'm not learning just the concepts. I'm learning the concepts in a practical function, and a practical manner, where it could be pulled from that bit of code and actually dropped into a live game straight away. Boom, that's now the game done. Which is, again, I felt that the learning process was simple, and the way it was built on, nothing felt over demanding. Nothing at all felt like it was going to I was suddenly just going, I'm out of my depth. Just slowly progress through.
Progress to the top.
Yeah.
Very
Definitely
nice.
Just a steady learning curve that slowly picked up, but as my foundations got stronger, the speed of the learning became quicker.
Nice. I love it. Thank you so much, Andrew. I'm very, very, very happy with the results that you got. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.